Wilson, BBC Radio Sheffield.
So on BBC Radio Sheffield this morning, we're talking, among other things, about letters, and we'll talk to them with our friends who've joined me in the studio to talk about the news there. The Rotherham joke writer George Valentine has just set the record for the most one-line jokes in 10 seconds, and he's about to reset it. And Frederika Roberts from Doncaster, her nickname is the Happiness Speaker. She's launched the Resilience Wellbeing Success Programme for schools. If there's ever a need for resilience and wellbeing, we've got it here. Frederika and George, thank you both very much for coming in. And say thank you to Rony.
Good morning, and thank you.
I thought he'd vanished. Right, will you help me, please, with the letter question from this morning? I'm asking the question, when was the last time you wrote a letter? Because this week is National Letter Writing Week, and there are researchers at the University of Derby say that businesses want to improve the writing skills of their staff because of low standards. Well, we've been talking about letters. What was the last letter you wrote, Frederika Roberts?
The last letter I wrote was actually a complaint/appeal to a parking company just a few weeks ago. I'd parked and overstayed my 4-hour stay by about 12 minutes, and they thought it was justified to charge me £100 for that, which I had a fairly strong view on. I sent them a cheque for £1.50.
Did you? And a letter to go with it saying
and a letter to go with it explaining exactly why. I've just had a letter back from them with my cheque back, saying no, we don't agree, so I'm going to have to write another letter now to their overseeing body. Yes.
You could tell me you'd been on the radio talking about it.
Absolutely.
Get me into trouble. Right, thank you for that letter. What about it, George Valentine?
Yes, the last letter I wrote, Rony, was to the Inland Revenue. It was a begging letter.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, it's BBC Radio Chef. We're collecting letters. Harry and Anne say that sometimes we have to send letters to give a better response. We sent a short letter to David Cameron reminding him there are only two kinds of people in the world, those born in Yorkshire and those who wish they were. Do you think we'll get a response? I guess that's in response to what Cameron was overheard saying about us last weekend. Keith says this: I sent my last letter to the press concerning bankers' bonuses. They are to activists writing letters, but do you and have you? The big news, everyone's talking about him. What do you think of Jeremy Corbyn's victory? The Daily Mail and the Telegraph. Unsurprisingly, you might think, foresee Britain in the grip of strike chaos. The Independent says the voice of the voiceless has been heard. The most self-effacing Labour leader since Clement Attlee bestrides his party like no other leader in its history. So, what do you think of Jeremy Corbyn? George?
Can I have that piece of paper?
You can.
Yeah.
Why? Does it contain some ad-libs?
That's a wee bit of that. Yes, I was very interested in Jeremy Corbyn's victory, and what I did, I put pen to paper on Twitter about it. And on the Labour leadership. I think my wife will be in Labour longer than Jeremy Corbyn.
Thank you.
And I think Jeremy Corbyn's sidekick, Tom Watson, should stick to golf.
Yeah. Good. What do you yourself think about it, George, apart from it being good material for jokes?
I don't know. I believe in middle-of-the-road politics, and I don't think that Jeremy is a middle-of-the-road politician.
He wears a T-shirt and an open shirt like you.
Oh yeah,
He's
but
got grey hair.
That's the only similarity we've got. And I think that the dream ticket, Jeremy Corbyn and Tom Watson, we now no longer need to watch cartoons. We can see Tom and Jerry.
That's the best one you've ever made. That is good. Well done, George. Frederika, what do you make of it?
Well, that's an interesting one, because as a foreigner I can't even vote in Britain, so it's always quite interesting as somebody who lives here and pays taxes here to watch what happens in politics and not actually have a voice. Like George, I'm not really for any kind of extreme when it comes to politics. I'm probably not the biggest Labour supporter, so in a way I suppose...
Well, you're both a bunch of Tories, that's obvious.
So I'd probably say it's a good thing, because it'll probably ruin Labour's chances in the next election.
Well, there you are. BBC Radio Sheffield is coming out this morning, isn't it? Let me ask you a question then that will not divide you from the people listening. Would you join a secular church? At 11 o'clock today I'm going to be talking to Raj Chowdhury from Sheffield, who's started a secular church in the city. It's called the Sunday Assembly, and it's based on the movement started in London. And I understand secular to mean non-religious. That's my take on it. Frederika, what do you make of this secular church?
Well, the first thing is I had to look it up just to confirm, yes, non-religious, and it seems to be, there was a quote saying it's a focus on doing good, living well and appreciating the beauty of the world. And in that case, I'd probably try it, you know. I mean, I am a person that likes to spend time with like-minded people who like to see what's good about life and the world. So if that's what it is and it's not a religious thing, and people from all sorts of religions can come together and just celebrate life rather than a particular religion, then I'm all for it.
Do you have a particular religion yourself?
Well, technically I'm an Italian Catholic, but practically no, I'm not practicing.
Are you allowed to drop out if you're an Italian Catholic? I thought...
Well, I actually stopped. I didn't I did my first communion, and I didn't do the confirmation at 13 because I thought that it would be quite opportunistic to just get all the gifts and presents and the party when I didn't actually particularly believe in what I was doing.
What did the family think of that?
My very close family weren't particularly massively religious either, so it was just, yeah, okay. That's it.
So is the universe empty? There's no God, there's no any of it?
I don't know. I don't know if there is something out there. I just don't believe in a particular God or deity or religion. I believe in goodness in people and energy, I suppose, and what we create by kind of sharing the love and being really good and kind to each other.
Where do you think you'll be when you die? What happens then? Because when you were a Catholic, they knew, didn't they?
yeah, absolutely.
Well, you can wait and see.
I'd probably end up in the wrong place as a Catholic, so I really don't know.
Do you think there's anything else coming or not?
It would be nice to think that there was. It would be nice to think that you don't disappear forever, but who knows?
Yeah, you're hedging your bets a bit even now, because you know, really, don't you? It's a lot of old tosh, but you don't quite say.
Well, no, I genuinely don't know, and I think it's, you know, I can't say it's a load of old tosh because I don't actually know the answer, and the only time any of us know the answer is when we can't share it with anyone else, unfortunately. So, you know, it is going to be one of those wait and see. It would be nice to think that there was something. It would be nice.
George?
I believe in you being leading, like you've just said, a good life and getting on with it, and I believe that's possibly the way forward, and whether this will catch on, only God knows. But it reminds me of a chap that was a God-fearing man and a villain that got together. And when they got together, they went out one night and got killed. One went to heaven, one went to hell. The chap, they met in the middle at Tesco's. And they said, how are you getting on? He says, it's fantastic in hell. He says, the pubs are open 24/7, so are the bookies. He says, and the women run around scantily dressed, and you can have Humpty Dumpty any time you want. He says, what's it like in heaven? Shocking. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. I have to wash and polish and clean the pearly gates. I have to make the breakfast. I have to wash up, make the beds. And his friend says, why is that? He says, I'm the only one up here.
Yay. Mr. John Lennon. 11 minutes to 11, you're on BBC Radio Sheffield. The Friends of the Day are discussing all the important things of the day, and some things you might think haven't got any importance whatsoever. George Valentine and Frederika Roberts. In a few moments, George is going to go for his own world record of telling more jokes than you want to hear in 10 seconds. Before we do that, can I ask, one of the other news stories of the day is about Kate Middleton's new hairstyle. The Daily Mail shows pictures of it. She was seen driving in a Range Rover with her new hairstyle. What do you make of her new hairstyle? Frederika?
Well, it looks perfectly lovely, but then I don't think there's anything that Kate Middleton could do with her outfits or her hair that wouldn't look absolutely gorgeous. But I wouldn't want to be her, bless her. I mean, there's nothing she can do without that kind of scrutiny, and I know it comes with the role, I suppose, but yeah, she's had a haircut, you know, women do. It's just something we do.
George, what did you think of it?
I think it looked lovely. We looked it up, and yes, I thought it was very good. And it always reminded me of my wife when she come through and she says, "What do you think to my mother's new hairstyle?" I said, "That reminds me, we need a new mop for the kitchen floor."
All right, then, here's your chance. We'll go for the world record. This is a BBC Radio Sheffield at its very best. Frederika, are you prepared to keep time for
I
this?
am.
George, you're 77 now, is that true?
That's correct.
Yeah. After your world record of telling 62 one-liners in a minute, you said you'd try to attempt to break your other world one-liner record of telling 13 one-liners in 10 seconds. Do you think you can do that?
Yes, Rony, I will try to tell 13 and beat my previous record of 12 one-liners in 10 seconds.
Frederika, are you watching the clock?
I am,
Will
yes.
you go, woo-woo, when it gets to 30
I will.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, going for the world record. George Valentine.
3, 2, 1, go. Popelopes, guitars fret, glue sticks, fogs mist, fleas bug me, fire at will, spies sing, sex breeze, my bra.
Woo-woo!
I lie in bed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, that's it then. What would the others have been if you got to them? I lie in bed.
Flog whips, vac socks, and hot chili.
Ah, what a shame you failed, George. How do you feel? Disgraced, ashamed?
No, I'll have another go. I've done it.
We'll blame it on the cold.
Okay, let's proceed. We just look sad. Let me ask you whether you call people darlings and loves. According to, well, some of the papers talk about a care home in North Yorkshire which has been marked down by inspectors because the staff call the residents love and darling and sweetie, and the Care Quality Commission say it's demeaning and patronising. Frederika, what do you think of being called love, darling, sweetie?
It depends who's doing the calling love, darling and sweetie. When it's somebody that doesn't know me, I must admit I find it a little bit patronising at times, but with friends, and you know, I call my friends and my children love and darling, particularly darling and sweetie and sweetheart, and my friends do the same with me, but when it's strangers it's a bit odd. So in terms of an old people's home, I suppose it depends on the person that's receiving those kind of words directed at them, doesn't it?
George?
I believe in endearments. I think it's a way of showing that you like somebody, and I see nothing wrong with it. When the politically correct people say that you shouldn't say love, I think that is pathetic. I think that there's a lot of words that we shouldn't be using against each other, and certainly endearments is not one of them.
Thank you, love, and thank you for that cough. We hope we don't all catch it. It wasn't the cough that carried it off, it was the cough that they carried it off in.
Class,
He's a good lad, isn't he? One final thing from you two. Would you join a secular church? At 11 o'clock I'm going to be talking about... Oh, I've asked this already, haven't I?
Yeah.
I've gone to pieces.
Mr. Springett.
Did you? Yeah. I was going to ask about Springett. We lost Ron Springett, the former England goalkeeper. He was a member of the 1966 World Cup winning squad. He's died at the age of 80. We're going to be talking about his career at Queen's Park, but also, of course, Sheffield Wednesday, where he was famous. You saw him play, George?
I've met Ron Springett when he was playing for Sheffield Wednesday, and I knew his brother as well, that was a police officer, as I supplied the footwear for the police when they joined.
Of course you did, yeah.
That's correct. And Ron Springett was a brilliant goalkeeper. Absolutely. In my opinion, he was world class. And he played with people like Alan Finney and a lot of good stars in that area. And then later on, I become a scout with Leeds up to 1996, and I was involved with it. But he was one of the best goalkeepers I think that I've ever seen.
Thank you very much indeed for that. It's BBC Radio Sheffield. George and Frederika have been in the studio. I'm really grateful to you both. Frederika, do you want... I'll give you a choice. You can tell us a joke, and I warn you, they don't always work on the radio, or you can give George a subject on which to tell a joke.
I'll give George a subject on which to tell.
Right, because he writes 100 every morning. So you should be able to find one to suit. Oh, he's wilding. Lions. No, we don't have lions.
I'll give you one because I was listening to this earlier on. I was listening to Toby as I was driving in. Miniature elephants the size of cats.
Elephants the size of cats? Oof, when I think elephant jokes, it's a bit difficult. I do know that there was a fly crawling up an elephant's leg with intent to rape.
That's it. George, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you ever so much. Blimey, 5 to 11 on BBC Radio Sheffield.
BBC Radio Sheffield.